Hi, this is Andrew with the Andrew Smith team of eXp Realty. And if you or anyone you know is in the market or considering buying a home, I wanted to share with you 5 tips on starting the home buying process. Now, tip number 1, contrary to what a lot of people do, it's not to actually start looking for a home. You might think that that is the right way to do it, but that can actually cause a few problems. The first thing that you actually want to do is get in contact with a mortgage lender and get pre-approved. That way you can kind of go through, or they'll go through with you all of your finances, and you're going to know what type of payment you're comfortable with, which is going to equate to how much of a loan you actually qualify for. Now, if you do it the opposite way, what I've seen happen in the past is people start looking for a home because they think they know what they can afford, and they have all of these different homes lined up, and they go, oh my gosh, this is going to be perfect, only to find it's not what they're looking for or not what they qualify for. Definitely what they're looking for, but not what they qualify for. And then every other home that they start looking at, they compare back to that first one. On the flip side, I've seen people be pleasantly surprised. The drop in interest rates has meant that they can actually afford more than they thought they could. So make sure that you get with a mortgage loan officer first and get that pre-approval done so you know exactly what your financing options are and therefore what price range you are comfortable in looking in. Tip number 2, make a list of your must-haves versus your would-likes. So what I mean by that is take a look at what your housing requirements are and get a list of things that you must have in a home. The things that you want to look for here are going to be bedrooms, bathrooms, yard size. Must you have a fireplace? Do you need a tub and a shower in the master? You're going to want to look at things along those lines that are not easily changeable. In other words, they're not cosmetic. Cosmetic things can be updated. They can be changed over time. You can change cabinets. You can even change a sink. Okay, but it's a little bit more difficult and more costly to change a floor plan. So get a list going up front to know what your must-have requirements are. Okay, tip number 3, research and choose the neighborhood that you would like to live in. Okay, so what's important to you? Do you want to be within walking distance of a park? How about schools? Do you have school-age children? And schools are really important to you. You want to make sure that you're zoned for a certain school. It's a really good idea to get that type of information together and narrow your search down. Rather than looking at an entire city, narrow that search down to the areas that are going to fit your family's needs the best. Now, once you've narrowed down the neighborhood, you want to start to narrow down the house style. What I mean by that, are you only interested in looking at single stories? Is a single story floor plan an absolute must? Do you need to have a bonus room or a game room? Is a 3-car garage an absolute requirement? Would you prefer that the house have a pool or not a pool? Does it need a view? Space for an outdoor kitchen? Any of the cul-de-sac, any items along those lines, so that house style becomes important. As the number of homes for sale, or the number of homes available for sale, I should say, is going up, keep in mind that you don't need to look at every single home that comes onto the market. The more focused your search is, the more successful you are going to be. So have that house style narrowed down in advance. And lastly, tip number 5, when you do go out and look at homes, document your home visits. The agent that you're working with should be able to provide you with a comment sheet or even just take a notebook with you. Because the market's not running as rapidly as it was a year ago, it's going to be a situation where you don't necessarily need to, oh my gosh, I've got to write an offer on this house today. You're going to be able to take a little bit more time. But in that, it can become confusing. You can go into, say, 3 or 4 different homes. Then maybe a week later, you go and look at another 2 or 3 or 4 homes. You're going to start to confuse the features from one house to another. So make a list of the homes that you've been in. What were the pros? What were the cons? What did you like? Can you rule it out? And that way, over the course of 2, 3, 4 weeks, whatever your search time is going to be, you will have been able to narrow that list down to the homes that fit your requirements the best. Again, this was Andrew with the Andrew Smith team at eXp Realty, and I hope these 5 tips have been helpful to you as you start your search for a new home. If there's anything else we can do or any other questions that you have, please feel free to reach out to us. Give us a call at 888-447-9650.